Pudding.
Wake up, handsome. Game of the Year 2024 just arrived. Yeah, I know I'm a little behind schedule. These videos take a long time to make. Sponsored by War Thunder. Abyssinian Shores is the latest release from Project Cyrodiil, a game-sized mod offering around 25 hours of playtime. Double that if you are a completionist. Formerly known as Province Cyrodiil, this is a collaborative modding effort to recreate the province we saw in the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion on the engine of the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. It has been in development for an impressive 17 years. But why would anyone spend nearly 2 decades recreating something we already have, and on an older engine no less? Yeah, I suppose it does deserve an explanation. First of all, what is Morrowind? It's a 2002 Elder Scrolls game. Set on the island of Vvardenfell within the province of Morrowind, it portrays a remote region of the Empire, inhabited by the Dark Elves, or the Dunmer. The game is renowned for its detailed depiction of Dunmer culture, offering a level of complexity and nuance comparable to real-world societies. Indeed, so believable it is. They say if you die in Morrowind, you die in real life. Fortunately, there is no risk of that happening, since Morrowind is an easy baby game. What is Oblivion?
Let me see your face. You are the one from my dreams.
Oblivion is a 2006 sequel to Morrowind. It takes place in the heart of the Empire, a province called Cyrodiil. If you played Oblivion as a teen, chances are you remember it quite fondly. The game certainly had its strengths, but believable is not the word anyone ever used to describe Oblivion. The development team clearly prioritized other things over the kind of storytelling and world-building we experienced in Morrowind, and so we were left in an absurd situation. There has never been a proper Elder Scrolls game set in the Imperial Province. The closest thing we got was the release of Bruma for Beyond Skyrim in 2017. But now, a new contender steps onto the stage.
Mama's little baby like Scumbo, Scumbo.
The following is the journal of one Kvenf the Nord, recovered from the pirate vessel Crypsis, alongside with a pound of sload soap, what appears to be some sort of a performer's attire, and an ignition key for an airship. He wanted to fly to the stars, but the mortal shades in his head kept him on the ground. For 200 years now I have prepared. The Order counseled caution, but she seems determined to make a sham of this once great kingdom. Caius Cosades, some creature of my father's, I take it. The Emperor does love all his little schemes. And who will stop me? I happen to know that both the Legion and the Navy are as tired of this charade as the people. If anyone is going to stop me, it will have to be you. So let's be done with it. Day 1. Anvil. Kvenf arrives by boat to Cyrodiil after a 3-year absence. The metropolis of Anvil is one of the largest and richest cities in the Imperial Province, located on the terminus of the Gold Road, which stretches all the way to the gates of the capital. Anvil is both a city and a kingdom. About 20 years ago, King Claudius and Queen Milona ruled Anvil together. Claudius was widely admired for his charisma and popularity, but he had a mysterious habit of vanishing for weeks at a time. And then, about 10 years ago, he disappeared forever. Since then, Milona, now officially Queen Regent, has faced constant challenges to her legitimacy.
Yes, Outlander?
Actually, it's you who is an outlander. Morrowind is a despotic backwater filled with limited and hateful people. They have nothing, they get beaten, and they like it. Cyrodiil is enlightenment, openness and charity, pet capybaras. People here have nothing. They get beaten, but they don't like it.
Can't you be quiet?
Being Cyrodiil's largest port on the Abyssinian Sea, Anvil has visitors from all over.
I do believe I have heard of you.
The Imga are a race of beast folk native to Valenwood.
How interesting. A tourist.
This is a ship from Somerset. Everything old Mary looks like it's made out of candy.
Good afternoon.
The Garden District is home to the city's grandest temple and the opulent mansions of its wealthiest residents. At the heart of the district lies an establishment known as the Abyssette. It's a bar, a hotel, and a casino, all under one roof.
What can it do for you?
And beneath it all, they host a fighting arena. The Anvil arena is special, reflecting the character of the city. The fighters are performers. Every participant inhabits some sort of a personality. You are expected to always be in character, picking the correct dialogue options. If someone wants all blood and glory, they go to Kvatch. What the fans want is the story, a hero and a villain. We can be either. The arena matches are linked together by an overarching narrative, like episodes of a show. This season's storyline revolves around evil sorcerer known as the Nightingale, who has stolen the shape of Rako Derisa, the owner of the Abyssette. Good patrons, allow Jotash to introduce you to the newest member of our roster, the Brigand. Kvenf's arena persona is a cunning and ruthless criminal who has a goal of dethroning the Nightingale and claiming the riches of the Abyssette for himself. As part of the role, we are provided with a mask. I make the rest of the outfit more expressive to match the flair of the character. The Nightingale has sent his kinsman, Vicious Willie the Unbitten, to stop the Brigand in their tracks. Will the Brigand overcome the first roadblock to their fortune, or will they end the night in Willie's stomach? Let's find out!
Oh, this is too easy.
The battles are not to the death, and they are not staged for the most part. There is not really much to them mechanically. Morrowind combat is rather hopeless. The Brigand has pushed Willie the Unbitten into the dirt, and it appears stolen his coin purse. There are only chicken bones and feathers in here. The Brigand, everybody! Performers like Willie can be found around the Abyssette and other city venues. We are advised to rest between battles, maybe rent a room in the hotel upstairs, though it costs 15 times the usual rate. It seems Rako Derisa is the real thief in the Abyssette. Days 2 and 3. Anvil. Kvenf returns to his old profession. Goldstone, also known as Castle Anvil, serves as the seat of the Queen Regent and the base of the kingdom's armed retainers, not to be mistaken with the Imperial Legion or the Imperial Navy. These are all different organizations. The castle is a maze of corridors, and it takes practice before navigating them feels intuitive. This is Lantin Chaskav. He's in charge of the bounties. The great thing about bounty hunting quests is that they don't require us joining any specific faction. Some jobs pay extra if the target is captured alive. Targets include thieves, vigilantes, and someone called the Masked Captain. The criminal Jaros Trasius is wanted for petty larceny and armed robbery. After committing a string of thefts, he fled the city and then attacked a traveler outside the town of Brina Cross. He was last seen heading towards Kvatch along the Gold Road. The picturesque Brina Cross has managed to rebuild itself impressively after being devastated by the armies of the Cameron usurper 180 years ago.
Sweet moon sugar.
This is the third biggest implemented settlement in Project Cyrodiil. The town is surrounded by a ring of farms and orchards. To the east are the kingdoms of Kvatch and Skingrad. To the north is the kingdom of Such. The road goes up the mountain, and on the edge of the implemented content is the Gosha Inn.
It was a rock.
You've got my ear, let's hear it.
Kind of
Jaros Trasius was indeed here. He stole a bottle of wine and fled west. We are provided no further directions, and Morrowind doesn't have a quest compass. I can tell that's gonna be a problem. A problem for tomorrow. For now, Kvenf, having finished his day job, will dress up and descend into the fighting pit. People of Anvil, Jotash welcomes you to the Abyssette. The Brigand has demanded that Yana the Priestess give them a blessing. Bold Yana, of course, refused. The Brigand demanded a duel in response. Brigand, is there any low you won't stoop to? Give me your blessing, Priestess. A divine blessing taken at knife point. Jotash thought he'd seen it all. Today's video is sponsored by War Thunder. The most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made is available now for free on PC, consoles and mobile devices. Take command of over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters and ships of 10 major nations. Exotic technology, in-depth customization and sophisticated damage modeling. Nuanced yet accessible, War Thunder offers 3 distinct modes. You can get as much or as little realism as you want. War Thunder has expanded its reach with an all-new mobile version available on iOS and Android. The mobile version features intuitive controls, impressive graphics, and the familiar massive multiplayer warfare. Play War Thunder now for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile devices by using links in the pinned comment. New and returning players who haven't played in 6 months will also receive a massive bonus pack on PC and consoles, including an exclusive vehicle decorator, Silver Lions, and 7 days of premium account. It's available for a limited time only, so be quick. Days 4 to 8. Anvil Kvatch border. Kvenf advances the scientific progress. We spent all morning unsuccessfully looking for the criminal until I got distracted by the ruin in the distance, which seems to be much bigger than any Ayleid construction we've seen before. Garla Sagia. Impressive. The guys at the bottom of the absurdly long staircase are an archaeological expedition.
You've got my ear, let's hear it.
I am Bisinarel, senior excavator of the Imperial Archaeological Society. The expedition will generously pay us if we recover the ruins' power source. In Oblivion, the Ayleid stones were used to recharge magical items. In Province Cyrodiil, Varla stones are a unique item type. They provide bonuses and penalties simply by being in your inventory. No need to equip them. This isn't my first time holding a Varla stone, but it never gets any more tolerable. Bisinarel rewards us with an Ayleid longsword, sleek and stylish. It's clear that the ancient elves had a particular fascination with avian motifs. My research on Garla Sagia suggests that it contains the great archives of Racha, the ruin's original owner. You would be the first to lay eyes on Racha's library in millennia. Aren't you excited? In our language, his title is best translated as the Lord of Ugly Obscurity. He was secretive even in life, so information about him is sparse. What we do know is that he hoarded knowledge, and the Alessian account states that he was killed in a battle to the northeast of here. What the hell are you? A sorcerer king. I've heard many tales about them. Unfathomable power, ancient magic, pacts with Daedric princes. They'd sacrifice and absorb the souls of thousands of slaves. They sought to ascend to the level of divinity, sculpting themselves to be bird-like, to emulate their god, Auriel. I thought they all perished thousands of years ago. Clearly, I was wrong. Racha, Lord of Ugly Obscurity. His throne. The scroll is used to summon an Auroran servant called Nakarar. A very unexpected outcome. I thought that Racha would speak the word. I stood guard in that room for a very long time. He wanted to fly to the stars, but the mortal shades in his head kept him on the ground. You know what? I wonder. Yes, a Daedric shield. Don't mind if I do. What? Racha was still alive? Oh dear. It's known that many of the sorcerer kings extended their lives beyond their natural spans, but I never expected it to have happened here. I would like to apologize. The Society will learn a great deal from Racha's library, and his corpse may offer new insights into the Ayleid's mastery of flesh-altering magic. There is still the matter of finding the wanted criminal Jasus Trasius. I think I see him. Yeah, must have gotten drunk and fell off a cliff. I suppose that's why the quest directions were so vague. The author wanted us to climb a rock and look west. The person at Gosha Inn says we should claim the bounty anyway. Jaskav at Goldstone agrees. Everyone in Kolovia is so nice. I am yet to be called a racial slur. Days 9 and 10. Dasek Marsh. Kvenf does something he dreamt of doing for decades. Naturally, the city of Anvil has all the guild halls you expect to find in a prosperous trading port.
Welcome. What is it you want?
The Fighters Guild is a professional mercenary organization chartered by the Emperor. It's decentralized, meaning the Cyrodiil chapter is run independently from the Morrowind chapter. Our ranks in the Andothran Guild are irrelevant in Anvil. A Bosmer outlaw called Sinduin is wanted dead for murder and numerous assaults on travelers in Dasek Marsh. He and his gang were last seen near the village of Archad. For almost 2 decades, lore enthusiasts were talking about the pre-Oblivion version of the province, where Cyrodiil was described as a jungle. You know what? I'm beginning to think we're all gonna make it. The Ayleid longsword is a decent weapon, but more importantly, carrying it lends us a veneer of sophistication. This is crucial for status maxing in the bougie Colo Nord society. Was that the guy? No. How am I supposed... Was that the guy? Is Sinduin a man's or a woman's name? No, this is the guy. Quite a few Bosmer bandits in the marsh, probably because of its proximity to Valenwood. Good patrons, welcome back to the Abyssat. The brigand has called the snake's storied Sayasi heritage into question. The snake answered this insult with a challenge to a duel for her honor. Will she rebuke the brigand's lies?
I have you.
The snake paralyzes us, then steps back to shield herself with several layers of protection spells. Not that any of this is going to help her, but by Morrowind standards, this is considered to be a very sophisticated encounter. The brigand has stepped on the snake. Brigand, what do you have to say for yourself? Admit your heritage is a lie, snake. As much as Jortash hates the brigand, it would appear that they are right. A sorry shame. Day 11. Anvil Such Border. Kvenf meets the Schemer. The Conservatory of St. Lacca is an institution of painters and an art house, sponsored by the Queen of Anvil. Theophon Ivrol, son of Velius Ivrol, recently bought a painting called The Triumph of Pelinal from the conservatory. Unfortunately, Theophon has fallen behind on his payments, so the conservatory has hired us to repossess the work of art. But the matter must be handled delicately. Under no circumstances we are to harm the Ivrols. Back in Morrowind, we created a spell that makes anyone we touch really like Kvenf. The family elder agrees to let us take the painting after we shake his hand. Naturally, the kid is disappointed. I promise the conservatory will get the money. The Arenthian and I will figure it out very soon. Who or what is the Arenthian? He's in the Thieves Guild. I have never met him in person, only talked with his representative at the Sailor's Fluke in Anvil.
This better be important.
I knew that working for the Fighters Guild would eventually entangle us with the criminal underworld. Remember, there is honor among thieves. Do not steal from a brother thief. Do not attack a brother thief. Do what you will to everyone else. Our first job is to trick the Navy into buying some of their own gear. Step 1. Get your hands on a Navy officer helmet. That's the easy part. Step 2. Disguise yourself as a pauper and take the helmet to Anandria at Fort Telodrak, the HQ of the Imperial Navy in Anvil. Inform her that you found it in the canal. Impressed by your character, she will reward you, and you will return here to gloat with your fellow thieves. People of Anvil, you have come for a fight, and that's what you'll get. Harj the Large, scion of giants and wonder of the frigid north, has challenged the brigand for the right to defeat the Nightingale. Will Harj stand proud in the face of evil, or will he fall before it? Find out tonight. He is a huge Nord with an axe. I've had to run away a few times to heal myself. He hits hard but doesn't believe in armor. No! The brigand, blackest rogue of all, has defeated Harj the Large. Quiet, Jortash! I want to see what Harj has in his pockets. Does the brigand's greed know any bounds? Find out at the brigand's next fight. Only at the Abbaset. Day 12. Anvil. Kvenf believes in his friend Willie.
Yes?
Today we'll fix a match in the fight pit. There is a very lopsided fight coming up in the Abbaset. Our Bosmer friend, Willie the Unbitten, described by some as a mediocre fighter, is facing Percus Martin, a guest from Kvatch. Percus is the real deal. Naturally, the odds favor him heavily. I have to say, it's not as impressive as the arena in Kvatch, but the Abbaset is paying me a pretty drake to mop the floor with their regulars, so I can't complain. The Aranthian devised an overcomplicated multi-stage plan to capitalize on this. Step 1. Steal an official-looking paper from the Abbaset. Our forgery expert, known as Old Man Theft, will use it as reference material to forge a change of location notice. Are you serious? Why did you people wait so long to tell me? Do you expect me to drop everything and head over there now? Fine, but go and tell whoever sent you that we are renegotiating my contract. This is ridiculous. Step 2. Coris Mamulon in the Bazaar of the Abyssion happens to be Percus' spitting image. Vanf shakes his hand and Coris agrees to partake in a violent sword battle. He is a brave man. Step 3. We go to the fight pit and place a maximum possible bet on our buddy Willie. I have so much faith in our colleague.
Good friend, this is an honor. Fight, coward!
Easy 3,000 drakes. The Aranthian says we need more experience before we are ready for the more sophisticated jobs, so he sends us to another guildmaster, Caspus Quillian, on the island of Stirk. Days 13 to 16. Karak, the Stirk Isle. You have changed. You were supposed to. Known for its tropical climate and excellent fishing waters, Stirk is a safe harbor for the many trade ships that frequent the treacherous Abyssion Sea. Kvenf visited this place 4 years ago. Back then, he was under the impression that Stirk is both the name of the island and the town. Stupid tourist. The town's name is Karak. The reason this place was remade is because the previous version did not meet the project's standards. The more you work on Morrowind, the better you become at working on Morrowind. The old Stirk was fine, but not quite good enough for Project Tamriel.
Happy to help. What's your problem?
Welcome. I am Caspus Quillian, Navy Chaplain of Duskwatch Keep. I'm just kidding. I take it you're looking for a job. Our mission is to infiltrate, or more accurately, just walk into, the Goldstone prison and facilitate the escape of Vida Lightfoot, who was apprehended for theft. Anvil and Goldstone fall under the jurisdiction of the Aranthian, so we are strictly prohibited from conducting any heists there. But nobody said anything about jailbreaks. Freeing Vida is the easy part. The real challenge is escaping Goldstone, a mountain fortress teeming with guards. But what is this? Theumatic Disruptor. It's always been odd that Morrowind features such a wide variety of teleportation spells, many of which are also available as scrolls for everyone to use. Yet, nobody but the player ever seems to take advantage of them. Well, this device is an attempt to dissolve this problem. Teleportation magic can be suppressed. So we disable the device and give a divine intervention scroll to Vida.
What's this about?
I have another task for you, a very important one. I want you to bring me some flash grit. It's a type of Red Guard explosive kept in canisters. The Solmitana company in Karak has a warehouse full of them. We take advantage of the telekinesis spell to remotely steal enough explosives to blow up a... Actually, what do we need the flash grid for? Oh, don't give these canisters to me. I want you to hold on to them for now. You'll need them for a different job later. Good patrons, Jotash welcomes you once again to the Abysset. The Wicked Brigand has issued a challenge to the Knight of Cups, the woman without honor. The Brigand has challenged her for the right to rob travelers on the Golden Road. Which of these rogues will be robbing you next time you travel? Find out tonight.
Run while you can!
Other individuals recommended us to use eye protection for this fight, but I'm not sure why. I did just fine without it. The Knight of Cups yields! Brigand, what is your message to the Knight of Cups? The Gold Road is big enough for both of us. A message of unity and forgiveness. Jotash would be touched, but he's afraid that this duo will target him first. Days 17 to 19. Olvos Isle. Kvanf meets a king. And then another one. The Arenthian thinks it's time we introduced ourselves to the grown-up in charge. His ship is currently docked on the east bank of the Olvos Isle. We are to make our way there and report to him as soon as we can. And one other thing, the captain asked whoever we send to bring 3 canisters of flash grit. Welcome aboard Crypsis. It is said to be crewed by a band of criminals from all around the Empire who know how to defeat any other vessel at sea.
You're a lot more refined than most of the travelers I've met.
It seems my status maxing strategy worked. The Masked Captain.
I see I stand in good company.
Ah, so you are the one I was told to expect. Your work has been quite commendable. That's good, because I need someone I could count on. I would like you to retrieve for me a special Varla stone. It is said to be a crystallization of magical starlight. Scholars have different beliefs for how aliens used it. Some say it was used to enchant items. Others believe the aliens used it to power their vast cities. But those details don't concern me. I believe there is a Varla stone in Garlas Malatar. I want you to go there and get it for me. To reach the fortress, we travel to the village of Thrashvi and then walk north. This woman is a vigilante and there is a bounty on her in Anvil, but this is below our pay grade now. Same for these guys. A sprawling alien citadel near the border between Anvil and such, Garlas Malatar was built to defend the shore against the Direni, a powerful high elf clan. But that was thousands of years ago. The aliens and the Direni are long gone. The depths of the ruin are blocked by stone and rubble. That's what we needed the flash grid for. Massalamir Thousand Hands. He was said to be a tyrannical alien sorcerer king. He ruled the Strident Coast from Garlas Malatar. I heard he was entombed alive in his palace during the Alessian Rebellion. I assumed he died there long ago, but to think he had the power to extend his life this long? He must have been refusing to surrender until this very day, not only to the rebels, but to the forces of time itself. Finally, it's quiet. The Varla stone is on the body. I didn't bother figuring out what it does to avoid the temptation to keep it. What an uncomfortable feeling. Still, I suppose this is how you know it's working. As a reward, the captain gives us a signet ring. It used to belong to King Claudius of Anvil. He and the queen ruled Anvil together. The king was quite popular, but he would go missing for weeks at a time. And one day, he never came back. Everyone who knows Anvil's history knows this fact. But what they don't know is that the king had taken to a life of crime to pay off family debts. It was around this time that I acquired his ring, a result of one of many deals he made. Oblivion enthusiasts will recognize that the captain is a Morrowindization of an important character from Oblivion. I hope the next installments of Project Cyrodiil will bring more Crypsis content. This feels like the first act of a grand adventure. For now, though, the captain's gift might unlock new career opportunities for us. Day 20. Goldstone. Kvenf takes the oath. What's this? Do my eyes deceive me? This is the signet ring of my missing husband, Claudius. I acquired it from the masked captain. He must have obtained it from the king somehow. But more importantly, how did you get it? I fought the masked captain for it, but he escaped. Service to the kingdom is a noble calling. I am prepared to accept you as a hireling if you make a pledge of loyalty to the kingdom, the queen, and all her subjects, in that order. Repeat after me. I swear to serve the kingdom as the kingdom serves its empire. I swear to protect Her Majesty Queen Milona of Anvil as she protects all those who comprise her kingdom.
Pudding.
The Kingdom quest chain is the longest in the mod, and it's about resisting the machinations of Harius Themistrel, the majority shareholder of the Abyssion Trading Company.
Now, where did I put that?
Now that we serve the Queen, we can no longer afford to resemble an orc bandit from the Reach. It's time to adopt a more dignified appearance. Kvenf ends up trying a bunch of different things.
What day is today?
Dragon scale. No, our face paint looks stupid with an open helm. Colovian iron. That's much better, but the open helm still looks silly and there are clipping issues. And this is what the local guards wear. No, it doesn't communicate our high status. Colovian lamellar armor. Seems to be made for a colder climate. Kvetchi steel armor. This is perfect. I love the mask, and it looks slimming. Now that's a Queen's Agent, a correct combination of mundane and exotic.
I haven't heard from him in ages.
Good patrons, Jotash welcomes you to the Abyssat. The Wicked Brigand, a name most reviled, has taken notice of the Armiger's fine glass armor. The brigand's crimes went unpunished for too long. It took Vivek's justice to finally catch up to him. The brigand means to claim the armor from the Armiger. Will they manage to? Find out now! The Buoyant Armigers are an elite military order of the Tribunal Temple, serving Lord Vivek, one of their gods. Their traditional attire incorporates elements of chitin and glass armor. The Knight of Vivek was brought low by the lice-ridden brigand. I won't steal the armor. It's not good enough for my tastes. Patrons, the brigand pretends to be picky and choosy, but the other day, Jotash saw him steal a rotten plum from the trash. It's all an act. Don't be fooled.
Yes, Outlander?
The Armiger is staying in the hotel upstairs. We can talk to her, but she never breaks character. There are hints that she's probably never been to Vardenfell. For instance, she refers to the Ghost Gate Fortress as a grand city. Someone should take it easy with the nationalist literature. Days 21 to 24. The Stirk Isle. Kvenf obtains a Varla stone of his own. Ever since the Navy withdrew from their base at Duskwatch Keep, the Abyssion pirates have been emboldened to attack ships on their way to Karak. We are to deliver an official complaint to Telidorus Cadmerius, the Narvak, at Fort Telodrak in Anvil.
Let's get this over with quickly.
There are many in Cyrodiil City who don't think of the Navy so highly anymore, and the recent budget cuts have forced us to only spend resources where they are necessary. Right now, fending off raiders in the Blue Divide is more important to the Empire's security than dealing with the smugglers in the Abyssion. The Navy won't help us solve our pirate problems, so I guess we'll have to take matters into our own hands. The root of the pirate infestation on the island can be traced back to this alien ruin. Varla's Stone of Pervasive Intent. All cool people seem to have Varla stones, and it's about time we got ours. A permanent bonus to Lone Blade and Mysticism, and a permanent penalty to Sneak. That's an acceptable trade-off. And just in time as we are about to sword fight a pirate crew. It can't be! The Brigand has defeated not one, but both of the Corsairs. What do you have to say, Brigand? They better hope they locked their ship's cargo up tight. The Brigand will stop at nothing when there is coin on the line. The Brigand, everybody! Day 25. Goldstone. Kvenf battles a Slaad. Queen's advisor Solvus Auric is concerned. An alarming amount of Slaad soap has been flowing into Anvil. The soap is made from the larval form of the Slaad, which means its production requires contact with them. The refineries haven't increased their output, so something unusual is happening. We cannot allow the Slaad to gain a foothold in Anvil, however small. The creatures are native to the coral kingdoms of Thras, located southwest of Tamriel. The Slaad are infamous for unleashing the devastating Thracian plague, which wiped out more than half of Tamriel's population. For this reason, the creatures were almost exterminated by the All Flags Navy, the Grand Fleet formed under King Bandu Olo of Anvil in the First Era. The expedition killed many Slaad and used unknown sorcery to sink their kingdom into the sea. I expected this to be a dungeon, but no. We are dropped straight into a fight against the creature and its posse. The slugs are known to be necromancers, so it attacks by spawning endless hordes of skeletons. I counter this by summoning Atronax. Eventually I run out of scrolls and the Slaad runs out of skellies. One of the harder battles of the expansion. People of Anvil, welcome to the Abyssat. Today, Jotash welcomes you to a battle between two warriors, neither ever defeated. Warlord Wargog fighting as the champion of his people, and the Brigand fighting only for himself. A battle of the century. Let the fight begin. An orc with a two-handed axe. Classic. Jotash warned us that Wargog represents a politically sensitive topic, so we should be cautious with our words in the pit. Could it be Warlord Wargog has been defeated by the Brigand? Wargog and I have a lot in common. There is no bigger thieves than the orcs. What? Yes, the Brigand, everyone! Brigand, please return to the lobby and speak to me at once, if you would. Before you fought Wargog, you were warned that this fight would involve a very politically touchy topic. What made you think that making that remark would be a good idea? Whoops, Kvenf did not think this through. Will the Brigand get cancelled? Will we have to make a public apology? I guess we'll find out tomorrow. Day 27. Anvil. Kvenf befriends an Imga.
Well, what is this about?
A Bosmer from Valenwood has requested a 3,000 septim donation from the Queen to aid in the reconstruction of his city, devastated during the War of the Blue Divide 30 years ago. A worthy initiative, but the Queen wishes to deliberate on the merits of such a significant contribution. What Solvus means to say is that she doesn't have that kind of money. Anvil's monarchs and martial governors always have money problems. This is something of a theme in fund this expansion. He suggests we donate our own money on her behalf. Wait, that's the job? Kvenf isn't exactly flush with gold these days either. We burned through most of our savings enchanting a Daedric glove with a permanent telekinesis effect. As a side note, Solvus mentions that Thymistral Manor's tower is rumored to house Herius Thymistral's significant fortune.
I see I stand in good company.
Buddy, you look like you haven't slept for a week. His treasure. Drake's gold bars, gems, a very expensive collection of rare armor and weapons, alien artifacts, paintings, rare wines. So, you guys know Willie? People of Anvil, Jotash welcomes you once again to the Abysset. Takur the Terrible has made a challenge to the Brigand. Jotash heard from a confidential source that the Nightingale has promised enormous riches to Takur should she prevail against the Brigand. Will Takur the Terrible become the wealthiest fighter in the pit? Let the fight begin! We get to battle an Imga who specializes in unarmed combat, which is extraordinarily potent in 1v1 battles. It would be quite hard to beat her without stamina potions. The Brigand has denied Takur the Terrible her promised riches. Brigand, what do you have to say to Takur? Join me and I'll double the Nightingale's price. What do you say to that, Takur? Sounds like a fair deal. Let's show all these fools what we can do. Redacted. 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 Seneschal, we have a problem. Prince Enman Septim has arrived in Anvil. This complicates matters a great deal. First, it makes action against Thymistral unacceptably risky. And second, it provides an opportunity for Herius and his allies to sway Cyrodiil city against the Queen. The quickest way to be rid of the prince is to give him what he came for. Anman drinks heavily, and I'm told that partaking is one of the few ways one has to make lasting inroads with him. At the moment, that is quite to our advantage.
Oh, please, by all means, ask me lots of questions.
Who said that? Imperial Ebony, Ebon Weave, Daedric armor of Eastern design. This guy is an elite spook. The finer details of our assignment are entirely irrelevant to you. Rest assured, we're perfectly capable of handling any threats to the prince. Drinks? Are you buying? Buying is not the right word, but yeah, I know where to get drinks. Excellent. Cheers then. So tell me, what is it like to be a part of the Queen's court? What kind of things do you do for her? I killed a Sload. A Sload around here, truly. Well, hats off to you then. I can't stand those vile things. I've only seen one in person, and it was dead, and it was still quite enough for me. It's quite an interesting story, actually. This was right after the Imperial Simulacrum. My brother and I were redoubling our training, which I'm getting ahead of myself. So I tell him that he's full of it, of course. 5 paces would be tough, considering he can barely stand at this point. 10 is simply out of question. But he's insisting he can, so everyone sits back to watch him, except while he wasn't looking, one of the Duchess enchants the dart. So he throws it, and it reverses course straight into his head. I bet I could have made that throw. To tell the truth, you aren't looking much steadier than he was. Waiter, a dartboard, please. Make a mark at 10 paces and clear the way. My friend here is going to try. It was terrifying. I thought I was going to die. It was just so unfair. Why? I didn't do anything to deserve this. But now half the Empire thinks I'm a monster in disguise. And my mother and my brothers? You know, sometimes I wish they never figured it out. Does that make me a terrible person? Before Jagar Tharn died, when I still thought he was my dad, everything was so simple. I know it wouldn't be right, but it's just so easy to think back and... Where in oblivion is the prince? And where the hell are we?
What's this about?
Have you seen... You know what? Never mind. If you are referring to the man you were out with, he is gone. Left to the northeast after we refused to give him any alcohol. My prince, where are your clothes? Kvanf, you're... Ow! I really shouldn't be yelling. Can you get me out? I don't think I can make it on my own. Funny, I always carry a spare teleportation scroll for this exact occurrence. That'll do. Meet me on my airship on top of Goldstone Garrison Tower. Excuse me? Meet you where? An airship, but not like the ones we've seen on the Dwemer blueprints. And it has interiors and an observation deck. My friend, hello again. I wish I could stay longer, but after the incident, I'm afraid I've made a bit too much noise around here. It's best if I stay on the move. Still, I quite enjoyed your company. Now that he is sober, we can chat the prince on a variety of topics. My imperial father is a man of destiny. Some days his destiny is a nap in the afternoon, and other days it's a nap in the morning.
You are the one from my dreams.
Day 30. Anvil. The Queen's enemies have made their move. You're here. Good. We have an urgent situation developing. Herios Themistril has left Anvil along with 2 minor nobles. Before I give you the bad news, I want to say that I support Queen Melona, but a lot of the officers under my command don't. As much as it pains me to admit, I can't guarantee that any naval support I give you wouldn't defect to join Herios. The Narvak says that a recent patrol saw movement at the Riemann-era fortress on the island near Thrashvi. That must be where Herios is getting his people together.
This is you make this too easy.
There is only so much that can be done with Morrowind's primitive combat system, so instead of wasting time trying to make the battles complex, the developers opted to entertain players through the sheer variety of combat encounters instead.
I have the upper hand.
The visibility in the final dungeon is almost non-existent. The reason for that will become clear soon enough. So Melona's newest lab dog arrives to do her dirty work once again. But you cannot stop what is coming. My true name is Urak Vertius. I am the last of the Shore Kings, and the crown is mine by the right of blood. When the despicable Slord sent a plague to destroy Tamriel, I had planned a way to preserve the royal line by joining the Vampirim Order. The Cyrodiilic vampire tradition differs significantly from that of Morrowind. Cyrodiilic vampires can blend in with mortals much more effectively. I have waited for 2,000 years for this moment. I will be the immortal architect of this kingdom's golden age. It's possible to side with Vermitus Themistril, but I believe the decision needs to be made earlier in the story.
Die!
For a split second, I regretted my choice to stay loyal to the Queen. Themistril does seem to be more qualified, or at the very least he is not permanently broke. Did we make the wrong choice? No, I don't think we did. Kvenf might not care much about the stability of the Septim Realm or Melona's dysfunctional rule, but the captain and the crew would have been deeply disappointed in us if we had replaced the Queen with a vampire technocrat.
I'd be happy to talk.
The grateful Melona promotes us to a marshal, but Kvenf isn't a stay-at-home kind of a mercenary. We should start packing. But before we do, there is one last bit of unfinished business. Day 31. The Abyssette. The brigand goes for the jugular. Good patrons, the Nightingale has revealed his true form and summoned a horde of Daedra to attack the brigand. Luckily for the brigand, they have terrible Takur standing at their side. Can they fight off the Daedric hordes and defeat the Nightingale once and for all? Find out tonight. He must be quite skilled if he managed to command the Daedra to obey the rules of the pit. But Kvenf isn't impressed. By now, we are summoning Daedra just to do our laundry. We take care of the creatures while our Imga friend keeps the Nightingale stun-locked. In a shocking turn of events, the brigand has pushed the Nightingale low. You don't have to say it, but I accept your thanks. You've never could have beaten him without me on your side. Where is Boss Rako, Nightingale? It's his riches I'm after. The plot with the evil sorcerer replacing Rako Derissa is a nod to the Imperial Simulacrum, a pivotal event when Jagar Tharn usurped the throne by impersonating the Emperor. I heard from my employees that you only rescued me because you wanted to rob me, brigand. That simply won't do. Instead of my coin, I grant you a title. From this day forth, you'll be the timeless champion of the Abyssette. I, Rako Derissa, true proprietor of the Abyssette, make this law under my roof. That ought to be enough to placate your greedy heart, I hope. Anvil, the city ruled by a destitute queen, the city whose king abandoned it to become a pirate, the city terrorized by the terrifying brigand. Slowed machinations, interstellar drug smuggling, vampire conspiracy, profane knowledge of the Lord of Ugly Obscurity. It's pretty much everything I hoped it would be. Thanks to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to play it for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox or mobile by using links in the pinned comment. New and returning players who haven't played in 6 months will receive a massive bonus pack across PC and consoles, including premium vehicles and other goodies. Available for a limited time only, so make sure not to miss it. Epilogue. Morrowind. Kvenf prepares for his next adventure. In the Iban Tower, the heart of imperial authority in the Dunmer province, there is this mural. It depicts the tribunal god Vivek bowing before the victorious Talos. Morrowind joined the Empire in the Second Era. Before playing Abyssian Shores, I thought it was arrogant of the Imperials to humiliate the Dark Elves so brazenly. The Dunmer are one of the most well-realized fantasy cultures in fiction. And what are you? We have Romans at home? Well, the mural certainly reads very differently now, does it? The next for Project Cyrodiil is the Kingdom of Search. For Project Tamriel, it's Skyrim, the Morrowind-style interpretation of Markarth. Meanwhile, Tamriel Rebuilt is almost done with Narcissus, a Hlalu city that promises to become one of the largest, fully detailed urban environments ever featured in a role-play game. This video showcases the OpenMW engine. This is my mod list. I use very few mods. Visit Tamriel Rebuild/recommended mods for a reasonable list of recommendations. After installing the engine, make sure you go into the settings and increase your view distance. 10 cells is a reasonable minimum, otherwise you won't be able to enjoy certain vistas both in the original and in the player expansions. This really should be the default. You don't need to grind levels on the mainland before diving into the new content. You don't have to wait for the whole project to be finished for Tamriel to be rebuilt. Most individual releases are already the size of full games. The next video will be about a classic Fallout title, in which we will fall on our knees and beg the developers of Fallout the Frontier for forgiveness. See you in a few weeks.